At one point in the process, I was giving notes on the shot, saying how I didn't believe a certain reflection, it looked fake to me. And that's when Ben Snow, who was the ILM supervisor, said, that's the real suit. So I was giving notes on the real suit, thinking it was the CGI suit. And that's when I knew that it crossed that line. And from that moment on, I realized that technology was a good one. It had passed the point where I could tell the difference. And then it became about how best to design the shots to make full use of what it could do well, and not to ask of those shots or that technology what it wasn't good at. So I think a lot of times now when you see bad CGI, it's because of poor planning on behalf of the filmmaker, as opposed to the artists that are working on it. And that's a big leap, that's a big change. And so now I think it's incumbent upon the filmmakers to learn more about CGI, because it's a tool that's here to stay.
The suit is the star, you know, of the Iron Man movies. You know, when we watch that suit do stuff, that's what we go there for. When the screws come out and the boots come on and things come on his arm, you really wish you had one of those things. And the ability to make you want to be that particular character is the dream of, I'm sure, all the guys that are working in those particular places that sit there and go, oh, that would be so cool. What if his suit did this? And they make us want to be those characters. They make us want to see that stuff happen.
In 2009, director J.J. Abrams reinvigorated the original Star Trek universe through the help of ILM's illusionists, the first challenge being a new design for the Starship Enterprise.
The thing about the Enterprise was you can't really play with it too much because it's so iconic. And I just knew that we were dealing with those very vocal fans who were going to be pissed off no matter what we did. So I thought, well, let's just update it a little bit, but let's maintain its essential silhouette.
There's a certain level of pressure involved in that too, because I remember when we did the new Enterprise for the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, and the first image that was revealed to the public, it sounded like they were going to kill us if they could find us. And we were talking about an artist relocation program because we're like, oh my God, you know. They got so upset. And then it came out and they loved it.
You know, the amazing thing is ILM took these designs that were done and they made this thing live and breathe, and they brought this ship to life. Star Wars made it impossible to do anything new. There's not a weather system, a terrain, an environment, a character color, a number of arms or legs. There's nothing that I mean, he did everything. Like it's, in the last 3 films, probably exponentially more than, you know, all science fiction films put together. Every once in a while, someone would whisper, you know, remember, Star Trek came before Star Wars. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't help me, because George has outdone it.
ILM made the most of practical and visual effects magic by shooting 2 very different worlds side by side. Just 30 feet apart in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium, creating Kirk stranded on the icy Delta Vega planet was done from a partial set under the balmy skies of Los Angeles.
It was a really fun magic trick to get to kind of shoot those things so closely and yet have them seem so worlds apart. There's a step with lighting and rendering that is just unnervingly magical. When you get it, you're like,
You can work on a shot for months, and you go and watch one of the movies you've worked on, and it's, you know, you see the audience react to something, you go, wow, you know, that's awesome. So it's very fulfilling from that aspect.
It just requires an incredible organizational and artistic endeavor, and I think that the fact that it works as well as it does is a testament to how ILM is built and the kind of people that work there. It's an amazing team, a huge, amazing team.
In 2005, ILM moved from Marin County across the Golden Gate Bridge to a 23-acre complex at the historic Presidio. Within this house that Star Wars built, ILM's team of visual effects wizards continue to push the envelope. From their humble beginnings in a Van Nuys warehouse to a state-of-the-art facility, they've single-handedly transformed the photochemical days of old into a new digital era, changing the industry one film at a time. Over the last 35 years, ILM has created visual effects in nearly 300 movies. Their innovations in artistry has been recognized with 15 Visual Effects Academy Awards, 23 additional nominations, and awarded the National Medal of Technology. In dark theaters everywhere, they transport us to other worlds with their cinema magic, always inspired to create the impossible.
I think ILM's greatest challenge is, in a way, their own reputation, you know, and continuing to grow and expand and, you know, and live up to the standards they've set.
This work is very complicated, it's very labor intensive, but it's to some extent become commoditized, and the expectation is that, you know, the more of this we're doing, we should be getting cheaper, cheaper, cheaper.
The competition from overseas especially has been really hard when the salaries are so much less than here. So how do we work faster and better and still keep the quality up? And we've had a lot of people who've gone through ILM, set up other companies around that are doing great work also, and we need to try to keep on top of it and come up with the next thing that's better than what someone else is doing.
ILM's body of work is something to be extremely proud of. I mean, you go back and look at all the things that ILM has done. It's the history of movies at the last part of the 20th century and into the 21st century.
Lightning just keeps striking at ILM. That's the remarkable thing about ILM. It's not like they had their moment and it's moved on. They find ways to reinvigorate that facility by breaking new ground.
I think ILM's biggest accomplishment isn't any one show. It's that they've managed to realize the dream that any filmmaker would have, which is the ability to do anything.
The ability to continue to make us believe what we see is the true genius of what these guys do.
George made his company available to every studio and to every filmmaker. And in a sense, it was the first time that had ever happened before, where a company was formed for all of us to be able to achieve our impossible dreams. And George made that possible for all of us.